We could have a wild 2025 NBA draft with the top picks getting traded on draft night. Why? Because the draft lottery made it this way. Dallas, the projected 11th pick, jumped to number 1. Spurs, supposed to be 9th, got 2. The Sixers from 5 to 3. But all of those squads are win-now teams. They don't need some rookie. And I don't care how great or generational the rookie's supposed to be. He's not that good. I think about the top 2 prospects the last 22 years. LeBron James, Victor Wembanyama. Definition of generational. Well, as a rookie, Bron won 35 games and Vic won 22. So of course we're going to hear wild rumors about draft night trades. These top teams need to win now. But which rumors are unrealistic and which might actually be true? Well, a draft night trade for number 1 has happened 5 times in modern history. Last time was 2017. Markelle Fultz went from Boston to Philly. In 2014, Andrew Wiggins made room for Kevin Love and LeBron's return to Cleveland. Then a 21-year gap. It was Chris Webber because the Magic already had Shaq. Twice in the 80s with Brad Daugherty and Joe Barry Carroll. So it's not impossible, just super rare. Oh, but the Mavericks would never trade Cooper Flagg. Well, actually, there is a legitimate reason why they might. But let's start with the most credible rumor at number 3. ESPN reports, some teams expect the Sixers to be active in trade conversations with names such as Kevin Durant and Lauri Markkanen as potential targets for Paul George and the number 3 pick. What? Why would they deal a potential young all-star at 3? Well, we've actually got even more reporting on this, but check this out. Joel Embiid might have 1 or 2 good seasons left, if that. So how could they not maximize this short Embiid window, especially with Boston out of the picture? I mean, next year, if the best East competition is New York, Cleveland, and Indy, no offense, but I think Philly would have an amazing chance if healthy. And think about who leads the Sixers front office, okay? The guy who's about to make this decision, Daryl Morey, the biggest star hunter GM in the NBA. Since becoming a GM, he has acquired James Harden, prime Dwight Howard, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, and Paul George. I mean, say what you want about analytics, but this man does crazy 2K trades with the best of them. Oh, and people called him like a genius GM after he got Harden in Houston. Well, dude's just been chasing that glory ever since. Came close to winning a title in 2018, but came up short. So do you think that guy is going to allow this opportunity to slip by? Oh, and that Paul George press conference probably felt pretty good, but since then it's been a disaster. So if you trade the pick and PG, it allows them to get off of his toxic 4-year max contract while getting another star. How could they not do it? Well, the kid they'd be punting on, club shooter. His flaws are a weak handle and decision making under pressure. Kid could be great, but there's no guarantee. But the trade for KD had a huge blow. Mark Stein immediately reported, when I've checked out the Durant scenario, it's been strongly debunked to me. I do not think that Philly is in the market for trying to pursue Kevin Durant, which would leave Lauri Markkanen. Now, Lauri is not like this big name for Sixers fan to get really excited about, but he might be better than Durant. 28 years old, under contract 4 more years. That's throughout his prime. Had a down season last year, but only because the Jazz were holding him back to tank games. The last time that we actually saw Lauri unleashed, he was an all-star. Dropped 26 points a night with 9 boards. 50% from the field, 40% from 3, 1 most improved player. His fit makes perfect sense, okay? Lauri doesn't need the ball to be effective, which works great with Embiid and Maxey. Plus, he would be even more lethal sharing the court with those 2 stars. So the deal is the Sixers get Lauri for Paul George, the number 3 pick, and the number 35 pick, the 2nd round pick for Philly. This would give Utah that young running mate wing for star guard Isaiah Collier and center Walker Kessler. You really couldn't ask for much of a better fit. Philly also gets off of PG's contract here. It just makes too much sense. But at the number 2 pick is the San Antonio Spurs. ESPN says the Spurs are going to be open-minded about trading the pick. And all the talk is about Giannis Antetokounmpo, but what else would need to be included in that trade? Could it actually become too expensive for Giannis? And why deal a new young guy coming in who's on Victor Wembanyama's timeline? I mean, Dylan Harper's 19 years old and Wemby is 21. Giannis is 30 as well. And when you think about that skill set, are you like, oh, he lives in the pain? Is that like Derrick Rose, John Morant get injured? No, Harper is built to last at 6'5", over 200 pounds. He's not like those guys. But the problem is Harper plays the exact position of need they already have filled on the roster, okay? De'Aaron Fox, Rookie of the Year Steph Castle, okay? They don't need another athletic guard who can't really shoot. So it does make sense to trade, but what would it cost? And what if Giannis doesn't even come? Could they then pivot to a guy like Devin Booker? Maybe the Spurs would trade down, so they could easily make a move. But what about the Dallas Mavericks? I mean, ESPN says they will not entertain the possibility of moving the pick. I mean, Adam Silver would be so pissed if he rigged the draft for Dallas and then they trade it. I'm just kidding. Or am I? But what is the actual argument for trading this pick? Well, Cooper Flag is great, but we have seen, no doubt, number ones fail to live up to expectations. Okay, Zion Williamson, Ben Simmons. I know it's hard to remember, but Ben Simmons was is he the next LeBron before he came in? And other number ones, to a lesser extent, Markelle Fultz, DeAndre Ayton. Okay, it's no guarantee. Flag's value might never be higher than this with all this hype, okay? With that, they could secure a guarantee with Giannis and reopen the championship window, which fits the timeline of their two current stars, AD and Kyrie. I mean, we get so caught up in the pre-draft hype. It is easy to overlook what the doubters are even saying. The Ringer said, one team exec says Flag has superstar potential, but stopped short of calling him a future MVP candidate. Another said Flag has a high chance of becoming an all-star, but is not in the same tier as number one picks like Wemby and Zion, who are considered can't-miss generational prospects. A third exec mused, great word, that Flag might top out as a very good player, but not a star. What if those guys are right? Oh, and the one guy who would do this is Nico Harrison, okay? Because what did he say after trading Luka? People ask, why is AD a good fit here? He said, because our timeline in Dallas is 3 to 4 years. 3 to 4 years. Who fits that timeline better, Cooper Flag or Giannis? And honestly, I see this as a choice between Cooper Flag or Anthony Davis. Because why would you keep them both on the same team? You can either build with Cooper Flag or maximize AD's window. You can't do both. If they trade AD now, he's 32 years old, value will never be higher. It's a golden opportunity to get back a lot for AD to build with Cooper. If not, how are you gonna build around the kid, okay? The Mavs control their pick in 2026, so it makes sense to lose next year, but they don't control picks in 27, 28, 29, and 30. Yo, trade AD immediately so you can tank for next year and then have assets afterward. But they're not going to do that, are they? They're not going to trade Cooper Flag or AD, idiots. This is the worst of both worlds. Why? Because Nico Harrison is the exact worst person to navigate what the Mavericks are facing, okay? He won't trade Cooper Flag, probably because he can't, and he won't trade AD because his entire reputation is based now on how well AD plays. You couldn't think of a worse GM right now for the Mavericks than Nico Harrison. But something huge could happen on draft night. I think Philly is most likely, but big things are coming, and that is not the case, unfortunately, in Denver. A lot of haters are going to say, oh, Nikola Jokic will never win another title. Well, when you look at the details of the mess they are in, it's kind of hard to disagree.